specific vibration in the air right now, a heaviness that feels like a storm waiting to break. And if you have found your way here, specifically around this time of February 5th, understand that this is not a coincidence of the algorithm. It is a divine appointment. You have likely felt a strange resistance lately, a sensation that every time you attempt to move forward, to claim a blessing or to step into a new version of yourself, something pulls you back. You might have seen the phrase, "This message was erased," on a screen before, a digital ghost of something that was meant to be said but was silenced. But in the spiritual realm, this is not a glitch. It is a deliberate strategy. The message you are about to receive has been blocked, diverted, and erased 4 distinct times in your spirit before it could reach your conscious mind. This is not about a conspiracy of men, but a conspiracy of energies that do not want you to wake up to your full potential. We are going to uncover these 4 barriers today. We are going to look at why your breakthrough has been delayed, and why this specific date marks a turning point where the erasure stops and the revelation begins. You have been walking through a fog, feeling the weight of a destiny you cannot quite see, and the exhaustion you feel is not physical. It is the fatigue of a soul fighting a war it doesn't fully understand yet. But before we dismantle the first barrier, there is a tool I need to place in your hands, a map for the territory we are about to enter. For those of you who know deep in your marrow that you are ready to stop cycling through these same battles and finally build a life of substance, I have curated a specific pathway for you called the 3 Keys to a Prosperous Life. This is not just a collection of words. It is a trilogy, a comprehensive guide designed as both an ebook and an audiobook for deep immersion. It serves as a practical map for the chosen to finally awaken to who they really are, to heal those invisible traumas that act as silent anchors, and to expand your reality with genuine stability. We often learn how to give, but we rarely learn how to receive, sustain, and multiply our blessings without guilt. If you are ready to learn how to hold the weight of glory without collapsing, I invite you to click the link in the pinned comment or description below. This trilogy is your companion for the journey ahead, available for those ready to do the work. Now, let us return to the architecture of this blockage. When I say this message was erased 4 times, I am speaking metaphorically of the 4 distinct walls that have been erected around your spirit to keep this specific blessing from landing in your heart. The first time this message tried to reach you, it was deleted by the voice of the past. This is the first barrier. The enemy of your soul knows that he cannot touch your future, so he weaponizes your history. Every time you get close to a breakthrough, a memory surfaces. A mistake you made 5 years ago, a relationship you failed to sustain, a moment of weakness where you acted out of character. This voice whispers, remember who you were. You are not qualified for this new level. This erasure happens in the quiet moments. You feel a surge of hope, a divine spark telling you that February is your month of elevation, and immediately the file is corrupted by shame. You replay old scenes, you nurse old wounds, but you must understand that your past is a reference point, not a residence. The reason you are a chosen one is not because you are perfect, but because your spirit is resilient enough to transmute that lead into gold. If you are still carrying the luggage of 2023 or even 2013, you cannot grasp what is being offered to you now. The past does not predict the future, it only predicts the pattern, and patterns are meant to be broken. If you are hearing this, take a deep breath and visualize that tether to the past being cut. You are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become in this moment. The second time this blessing tried to land in your spirit, it was erased by the fear of the future. This is a subtle, insidious vibration. It often masquerades as prudence or being realistic. It is the anxiety that asks, what if I fail? But even more terrifyingly, what if I succeed? There is a subconscious terror in the chosen regarding their own power. You know that if you truly step into your calling, your life will change irrevocably. You will lose people. You will lose the comfort of the known misery. And so the mind creates a catastrophic scenario to protect you from the unknown. This fear erases the divine instruction before you can act on it. It freezes you in a state of analysis paralysis. But consider this. Anxiety is simply your imagination being used in the wrong direction. It is faith in the negative. The same energy you use to construct these terrifying futures is the energy required to build the paradise you seek. The blockage here is a lack of trust, not just in God, but in your own ability to handle what comes next. You have survived 100% of your bad days. The version of you that exists in the future is already equipped to handle the problems of the future. You do not need the strength for tomorrow right now. You only need the strength for today. If this resonates with you, if you feel that anxiety loosening its grip, consider engaging with this transmission by liking or subscribing, signaling to the universe that you are ready to shift your frequency from fear to anticipation. The third erasure is perhaps the most painful because it involves the people around us. The third barrier is the opinion of others. When the divine download comes, when the inspiration strikes to start that business, to change that habit, to speak that truth, it is often deleted by the collective consciousness of your tribe. The crab bucket mentality is real. When one crab tries to escape, the others pull it back down, not out of malice, but out of fear of separation. When you begin to vibrate at a higher frequency, it makes those around you uncomfortable because your light exposes their shadows. They will say things like, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "You've changed." They will try to remind you of the old version of yourself, the one that made them feel safe and superior. This social pressure acts as a powerful eraser. You dim your light to fit in the room. You swallow your truth to keep the peace. But peace at the expense of your soul is not peace. It is a slow death. You must realize that being chosen often means being set apart. It is a season of solitude that prepares you for a season of leadership. You cannot take everyone with you to the next level. The elevator to the top has a weight limit. The opinions of others are merely a reflection of their own limitations, not yours. Do not let their doubt delete your destiny. And finally, we reach the fourth and most formidable barrier, the final gatekeeper that has tried to keep this message from you: internal doubt. This is the enemy within. Even if you silence the past, calm the future, and ignore the crowd, you are left alone in the room with yourself. And that is where the imposter syndrome lives. It is the quiet, nagging feeling that you are a fraud, that you are fundamentally flawed, that God must have made a mistake in choosing you. This doubt is the ultimate eraser because it attacks your identity. It tells you that you are not smart enough, spiritual enough, or strong enough. But listen closely to what I am about to tell you. Doubt is a parasite. It needs your attention to survive. It feeds on your insecurity. The very fact that you are wrestling with this doubt is proof of your calling. The unchosen do not doubt themselves. They are often arrogantly sure in their ignorance. Your questioning, your desire to be better, your fear of not being enough, these are the markers of a humble spirit ready for exaltation. This message was erased 4 times, but today, on this day, you are retrieving it from the trash bin of your spirit. You are restoring the file. The message is this: you are entering a window of time where the resistance is breaking. The reason the attacks have been so heavy, the reason the confusion has been so thick, is because you are standing at the threshold of a massive integration. The universe does not throw rocks at a tree that bears no fruit. You are being targeted because you are valuable. The 4 barriers, past, future, others, and self, are not walls. They are tests. They are the friction required to sharpen the blade of your character. As you move through the rest of this month, you will notice these 4 voices trying to speak up again. But now, you have the awareness to identify them. When the past speaks, you will say, That is a lesson, not a life sentence. When the future scares you, you will say, I am guided. When others judge you, you will say, I am not here to please you. And when doubt whispers, you will say, I am chosen. This is the work. It is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of recovering the truth that the world tries to delete. There is a profound peace that comes when you stop fighting the ghosts of what was and start building the reality of what is. You are being called to a higher standard of existence, one where you are the guardian of your own mind. The last warning is not a threat of doom. It is a warning that the time for hesitation is over. The window of opportunity to align with this new timeline is open, but it requires your active participation. You cannot passively wait for rescue. You must actively participate in your own rescue. Think about the last time you felt truly aligned, where everything just flowed. That state is your birthright. It is not a fleeting moment of luck. It is the natural state of a being who has removed the interference. The 4 erasures were simply static on the line. Now that we have tuned the radio, the music can finally play, and the symphony of your life is far more beautiful than the noise of your fears. As we go deeper into this understanding, I want you to reflect on which of these 4 barriers has been the most dominant in your life recently. Is it the voice of a parent echoing from childhood? Is it the fear of financial ruin in the future? Is it the judgment of a spouse or friend? Or is it your own reflection in the mirror? Identifying the primary saboteur is the first step in disarming it. You cannot fight an enemy you cannot see. By naming it, you claim dominion over it. This journey is not for the faint of heart, which is why so many turn back. They prefer the comfortable misery of the known over the uncomfortable glory of the unknown. But you are still here. You are still listening. That tells me that your spirit is stronger than your programming. You are ready to rewrite the code. The file is no longer corrupted, the message is downloading, and the instruction is simple. Stand firm. Hold your ground. The storm you are feeling is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to clear the path. There is a specific energy required to maintain this state of clarity, a daily hygiene of the soul. Just as you wash your body, you must wash your mind of these 4 impurities every single morning. It is a relentless pursuit of truth. And as you do this, you will notice that the people around you begin to shift. Some will fall away, and new ones will appear. People who resonate with your new frequency, who do not need to erase your message to feel secure in their own. This is the gathering of the tribe, the alignment of the chosen. We are building something here that transcends the digital space. We are building a sanctuary of thought, a place where the weary warrior can rest and sharpen their sword. If you feel that you are part of this remnant, this group of souls waking up across the globe, then verify your presence. Leave a mark in the comments, share this with someone who is struggling with these same barriers, and let us continue to weave this net of consciousness. The erasure is over, the recording is live, and your life is the message that the world is waiting to hear. But this message is not merely a sound you hear, it is a vibration you must embody. To embody it requires a radical restructuring of how you perceive your place in the timeline of your own life. Most people live in a reactive state, bouncing like a pinball between the bumpers of external circumstances, believing that life is something that happens to them rather than something that moves through them. When you stop the erasure, you stop the reaction. You step into the position of the cause rather than the effect. This shift is subtle in its mechanics, but violent in its implications. It means you can no longer blame the economy, your upbringing, or your environment for your internal state. You accept the mantle of total responsibility. This is heavy, yes, but it is the only weight that builds the muscle of true sovereignty. As you stand in this new clearing, having silenced the noise of the 4 erasures, you might find yourself facing a vast, open silence. For many, this silence is terrifying. We are so accustomed to the chaos of drama and the static of anxiety that peace feels suspicious. You might find yourself waiting for the other shoe to drop, scanning the horizon for the next disaster. This is the addiction of the nervous system to the chemistry of stress. You must learn to sit in this silence without filling it with new distractions. You must learn to trust the stillness. It is in this stillness that the blueprints of your new reality are drawn. However, navigating this silence and constructing a new life from the ground up is not a task to be taken lightly, nor is it one you should attempt without the proper tools. We often speak of waking up, but rarely do we discuss the practical architecture of staying awake and building upon that foundation. This is why I have curated a specific resource for this exact phase of your evolution. I am speaking of the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not just a collection of ideas. It is a comprehensive trilogy, a tactical map designed specifically for the chosen who are ready to move beyond the struggle and into a state of flow. This trilogy serves as a guide to help you awaken to who you really are, healing the invisible locks that have kept your potential dormant for years. It teaches you the subtle art of expanding with stability, learning how to receive abundance, how to sustain it so it doesn't slip through your fingers, and how to multiply it without the guilt that society often attaches to success. Whether you prefer to absorb this knowledge through reading the ebook or listening to the audiobook during your daily commute, the format is designed to integrate seamlessly into your life. If you feel called to deepen this work, you can find the link to this trilogy in the pinned comment or the description below. This is an invitation to master the mechanics of your own prosperity. Now, let us return to this concept of the nervous system addiction, because this is where the battle is truly won or lost. Even with the best maps and the clearest understanding, your biology will try to drag you back to the familiar. The body keeps the score, and it remembers the chemical signature of your past limitations. When you begin to succeed, when you begin to feel joy without reason, your body may interpret this unfamiliar state as a threat. It may manufacture anxiety or induce self-sabotage simply to return to the homeostasis of misery. You must be smarter than your biology. When you feel that tightening in your chest or that sudden wave of doubt, recognize it not as a sign that you are going in the wrong direction, but as a symptom of withdrawal from your old self. Treat yourself with the firmness and compassion of a parent weaning a child from a bad habit. You acknowledge the feeling, you thank your body for trying to protect you, but you proceed with the new command. This is the daily hygiene I spoke of. It is the conscious overriding of the automated survival programs that no longer serve the thriving being you are becoming. As you persist, the body eventually surrenders. It learns that this new frequency of peace and power is safe. And once the body aligns with the mind, your capacity for manifestation accelerates exponentially. This is the state of coherence. In this state of coherence, you will begin to notice the phenomenon of the mirror. The world around you is a mirror of your internal state, but there is a time delay. Just as the light from a distant star takes years to reach your eyes, the reality you see around you today is often the reflection of who you were months or years ago. This lag time is the valley of death for many seekers. They change their internal frequency, they stop the erasures, but they look at their bank account or their relationships and see the old rot still lingering. They despair, thinking it isn't working. But you must understand the physics of this. You are looking at the past. The current reality is just the echo of a shout you made long ago. You must have the discipline to ignore the current reflection while you are actively polishing the mirror. You must live in the reality of what you are building, not what you are seeing. This requires a level of delusion that the world will call madness, but which the wise know is the prerequisite for miracles. You act as if the new timeline is already here. You make decisions from the perspective of the version of you who has already won. You do not wait for the external validation to feel the internal security. You generate the security first, and the external world, bound by law, must eventually reshape itself to match that signal. As you hold this frequency, you become a tuning fork for your environment. This brings us to the delicate matter of your social circle. I mentioned that people will fall away, and this is often painful. We cling to history, to shared memories, even when the connection has become necrotic. But you cannot drag people into your new timeline against their will. To try to do so is an act of violence against their path and a sabotage of your own. Some people are committed to their suffering. It is their identity, their badge of honor. When you stop suffering, you become a mirror to them, reflecting what they are unwilling to heal. This makes you dangerous to their ego. Do not be surprised if those closest to you become the most critical of your transformation. They may accuse you of changing, of becoming arrogant, or of forgetting where you came from. These are the defense mechanisms of their own insecurity. Bless them, love them from a distance if necessary, but do not lower your frequency to make them comfortable. If you dim your light to match their darkness, you both remain lost. By shining fully, you offer them the only true help you can give, the example that freedom is possible. You become a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats to save. It stands firm, shining its light, and allows the ships to find their way. This process of shedding the old skin brings us to the concept of the void. Between the death of the old identity and the full birth of the new, there is a hallway. In this hallway, you may feel invisible, misunderstood, or profoundly lonely. This is not a punishment, it is a sacred incubation. In ancient traditions, the initiate was often placed in a cave or a dark room for days to face this void. You are facing it in the midst of modern life. Do not rush to fill this void with cheap entertainment, meaningless chatter, or rebound relationships. The void is the womb of creation. It is where you gestate the new vision. During this time, pay close attention to your language. The words you speak are the code you are writing into the matrix of your reality. Eliminate words of doubt, of lack, of trying. Do not say, "I hope to be free." Say, "I am liberating myself." Do not say, "I want to be wealthy." Say, "I am building prosperity." The subconscious mind does not understand the future tense. It only operates in the eternal now. When you say, "I want," you are affirming the state of wanting, the state of lack. When you say, "I am," you are claiming the identity. This is not semantic trickery. It is command line programming for the biocomputer of your existence. And as you refine your speech, you must also refine your consumption. What are you feeding your mind? If you are spending hours scrolling through the curated hallucinations of other people's lives, you are injecting a virus of comparison into your operating system. You are looking at their highlight reels and comparing them to your behind-the-scenes footage. This is a recipe for despair. Reclaim your attention. Your attention is the currency of the new age, and everyone is fighting for it. When you give your attention to things that do not serve your growth, you are funding your own enslavement. Instead, invest your attention in the study of timeless principles. Read the biographies of great men and women who overcame impossible odds. Study the patterns of nature, which never rushes yet accomplishes everything. Listen to music that elevates your spirit rather than debasing it. Curate your sensory input with the same rigor that a museum curator selects art. You are the guardian of the temple. If you let trash in the front door, do not be surprised if the sanctuary smells of rot. There is a power in secrecy during this phase. The alchemists knew that the vessel must be hermetically sealed for the transformation to occur. If you open the lid too often to show people what you are brewing, the heat escapes and the reaction fails. Keep your biggest dreams and your deepest moves to yourself for a while. Share them only with those who have the capacity to hold the vision with you, the tribe we spoke of earlier. If such people are not yet in your physical reality, commune with them in the digital sanctuary, or simply hold counsel with the authors and mentors who guide you from the pages of books. It is better to be alone with a vision than in a crowd with a distraction. As you cultivate this inner garden, you will inevitably encounter the tests of resolve. The universe has a way of testing the integrity of your new structure. Just when you decide to be patient, you will be forced to wait. Just when you decide to be abundant, an unexpected bill will arrive. These are not signs to stop. They are the weight on the bar to test your strength. The universe is asking, are you serious, or is this just another fleeting whim? When you meet these challenges not with panic, but with a calm knowing that they are merely passing clouds, you pass the test. You signal to reality that you are no longer a fair weather captain. You can sail in the storm. This resilience is what separates the chosen from the curious. Many people are curious about a better life, but they fold at the first sign of resistance. You are being forged for something greater. The heat you feel is not burning you, it is refining you. It is burning away the impurities, the need for approval, the fear of failure, the attachment to outcomes. What remains is pure gold. It is the unshakable core of who you are. Consider for a moment the concept of time in this equation. We are conditioned to demand instant gratification. We plant a seed and dig it up the next day to see if it has roots. This kills the seed. You must develop the farmer's mentality. You prepare the soil, the mind. You plant the seed, the intention. You water and weed, the daily habits. And then you trust the season. You do not scream at the crop to grow faster. You understand that there is a rhythm to all things. Your life has its own season. If you are in winter, do not pretend it is summer. Winter is for roots. Summer is for fruit. If you skip the winter work, the summer fruit will be small and bitter. Embrace where you are, knowing it is the necessary precursor to where you are going. If this philosophy of patience and power is resonating with you, if you feel your shoulders dropping and your breath deepening as you listen, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It is a small action, a digital nod that says, I am part of this tribe. I am doing the work. It helps the signal reach others who are lost in the static, looking for this very frequency. Now let us deepen our understanding of the shadow. In your journey to the light, you will cast a shadow. This shadow consists of the parts of yourself you have rejected, your anger, your selfishness, your primitive desires. The nice person syndrome tries to repress these, to pretend they don't exist, but what you repress controls you. The true warrior integrates the shadow. You acknowledge your capacity for destruction, and you choose creation. You acknowledge your capacity for cruelty, and you choose kindness. This makes your kindness virtuous rather than just harmless. A rabbit is not virtuous because it doesn't eat the wolf. It is simply harmless. A lion that protects the cub is virtuous because it has the power to kill but chooses to nurture. You are becoming the lion. You are reclaiming your teeth and claws, not to tear the world apart, but to protect the sacred space you are building. This integration gives you a gravitas, a weight that people can feel when you walk into a room. You are no longer the pleaser, dancing for scraps of affection. You are the sovereign, dispensing value from a place of overflow. This shift changes the dynamic of every relationship you have. People stop toying with you because they sense you are no longer playing games. In this sovereign state, you will find that your definition of success begins to mutate. It shifts from acquisition to contribution. You realize that true power is not just in what you can get, but in what you can give. But you cannot give from an empty cup. This is why the first phase is self-preservation and self-accumulation. It is not selfish, it is strategic. You must secure your own oxygen mask before you can assist others. Once you are stable, once the 4 erasures are permanently disabled, your natural state will be one of generosity. You will want to lift others up, not out of obligation, but out of the sheer joy of seeing the light turn on in their eyes, just as it has turned on in yours. This brings us to the concept of legacy. What are you leaving behind? I am not speaking only of money or monuments, but of the energetic imprint you leave on the fabric of humanity. When you heal yourself, you heal your lineage. You break the chains of trauma that have been passed down from generation to generation. You become the circuit breaker. The abuse stops with you. The poverty stops with you. The addiction stops with you. You endure the pain of transformation so that your children, or the people you mentor, or the world at large, do not have to carry that burden. This is the ultimate heroism. It is a silent battle fought in the privacy of your own heart, but the victory echoes through eternity. There is a profound dignity in this undertaking. It elevates your daily struggles into a mythic quest. The traffic jam, the difficult boss, the financial tightrope, these are no longer petty annoyances. They are the training ground for your character. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this training me for? This simple linguistic flip changes you from a victim into a student of life. And a student is always learning, always expanding, always winning, even when they fail, because the lesson is the prize. Let's talk about the energy economy. Every interaction you have is a transaction of energy.